Great morning, dear students. So today we will do our chapter 4, that is metals and non-metals. Okay, so let's start. Actually, first of all we have to know what are elements. Elements are the substance which cannot be broken down into more simpler substances, means they are the smallest particles, for example oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, etc. So now we have to know about the types of elements, means how much type of elements are present. Elements are of three types: metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metals, non-metals and metalloids. So in this chapter we will learn about the physical properties of metals and non-metals plus chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So let's start. First of all, what are metals? Metals are actually shiny, means they appear shiny substance that are sonorous. So sonorous means when we hit the metal with the substance they can produce sound. Ductile means you can convert metal into thin wires. Malleable means you can convert metal into thin sheets. Plus good conductor of heat and electricity, means you can pass electricity and heat from the metals, and metals are hard in nature. Okay, so metals are shiny substance that are sonorous, ductile, malleable, good conductor of heat and electricity, and hard. Now what are non-metals? Non-metals are the materials which are dull. Non-sonorous means they are not shiny, they cannot produce sound when hit with the substance. Non-ductile means we can't convert them into thin wires. Non-malleable means you can't convert them into thin sheets. And poor conductor of heat and electricity means they cannot pass heat and electricity through them. Okay, now let's start with the physical properties of metals. First one is malleability. As I told you that it is that property of metals which allows them to be beaten into thin sheets, means that property by which you can draw metal into thin sheets. Due to this property, the shape of iron nail and aluminium wire can be changed on beating. We can change the shape of iron nail and aluminium wire on beating. The silver foils used for decorating sweets and the aluminium foil used for wrapping food, these are possible because of malleability properties of metals. Okay, now next one is the, you can see this is a gold foil and this is the aluminium foil. Gold foil and aluminium foil, these are made because of the property of malleability. Next one is conductivity. As I told you that metals are good conductor of electricity, means they allows the current and heat to pass through them easily. Metals like iron rod, nail, copper wire, these are the good conductors of electricity. Now you can see in this is a circuit diagram in which battery is connected. At one end battery is connected to wood is actually the non-metal, and on the other end it is connected to the bulb. So wood is actually a non-metal, so it is poor conductor of electricity. That's why the bulb here is not glowing. But if you replace wood with any metal object, any iron nail, any copper wire or anything, then the bulb will start glowing. That proves that metals are good conductor of electricity, whereas non-metals are bad conductor of electricity. Now next one is the ductility. So ductility is that property of metals which allows them to be drawn into thin wires. Examples: metals like aluminium and copper, these are used for making wires in electrical connections. You can see in this diagram, these are the wires of copper. And why we are using copper in the electricity? Because copper is the best conductor of heat and electricity. Next one is the sonorous. So sonorous is that property of metal which produce ringing sounds on heating, means when you hit metals with a substance, then it produce ringing sound. This is your example is your school bell. You know very well that when your school bell is heated by an object, it produce a ringing sound. Next one is lustrous. So it is that property of metals which make them shine, and their structures are capable of reflecting incident light, means metals are actually shiny in nature. That's why the jewelries are made up of from gold and silver, because they are shiny. In this you can see the difference between the physical states of metals and non-metals. So as I told you that metals are solid in nature, but exception is mercury. Means mercury is the only metal which is found in the liquid form at room temperature. Non-metals may be solid, may be liquid, or may be gaseous. Appearance: metals are shiny in nature, but non-metals are dull. Melting point of metals is high, melting point of non-metals is low. Density of the metals is high and the density of non-metals is low. Malleability: metals show the property of malleability, but non-metals are brittle, we can't convert them into thin sheets. Ductility: metals are ductile in nature, whereas non-metals are not ductile. And last one is the conductivity: metals are good conductor of electricity and heat, whereas non-metals are poor conductor of heat and electricity. So this is the difference between the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Now next one is the exceptions of metals and non-metals. As I told you that mercury, it is the only metal that is found in the liquid form, otherwise metals are solid in nature. Sodium and potassium, these are the only two metals which are soft and can easily be cut with the knife, otherwise as you know metals are hard in nature, so this is the exception. Iodine is the only non-metal that is lustrous, means iodine is lustrous in nature. Next is non-metals are generally bad conductor of electricity, but graphite is a good conductor of electricity, means non-metals do not conduct electricity. Exception graphite. Graphite can conduct electricity, that's why it is a good conductor. Now you can see in this diagram that gallium and cesium, these two are the metals which have very high melting point. These are the metals which have very low melting point. Normally metals have high melting point, but cesium and gallium have very low melting point. This is mercury. You can see mercury, it is a liquid at room temperature. This is iodine. You can see iodine is a non-metal, but it is lustrous. This is graphite. Graphite is actually made up of carbon. It is an allotrope of carbon, and it is a hardest natural substance. Otherwise non-metals are not hard, but it is an exception that diamond is the hardest natural substance and has a very high melting and boiling point. Similarly, graphite, as I told you that graphite is good conductor of electricity. It is found in the pencils. Sodium, potassium and lithium, these are the metals which are very soft in nature and you can cut them with the knife very easily. Okay, so these are the exceptions of metals and non-metals. Now we will do about chemical properties of metals and non-metals. First, reaction with oxygen. When metals react with oxygen, they will form metallic oxide, and these metallic oxides are basic in nature. Always remember that metal oxides are basic in nature. Example, rusting of iron. You can see if iron is kept placed in the open, then it will react with oxygen and water molecules present in the surroundings, and it form iron oxide, Fe2O3. So this iron oxide is actually basic in nature. Basic means if you dissolve this iron oxide in water, it will form basic solution. Fine. So when metals react with oxygen, they form metallic oxide, that will be basic in nature. You can see here, this is an example of rusting of iron. And next example is copper vessel. If copper vessel is left open in the presence of moist air, then a dull green coating will be observed on it. Green coating, you can see in this diagram, and this material is actually, this green color material is actually mixture of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. Okay, so you can see the reaction that when copper react with water, carbon dioxide and oxygen, these are present in the moist air, it will form copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. This is actually the green coating deposit on the surface of copper vessels, and this is also basic in nature. As I told you that metals form metallic oxides that are basic in nature. Now the chemical properties of non-metals. Similarly, non-metals also reacts with oxygen, but they form acidic oxide, not basic. They form acidic oxide, and when you dissolve the acidic oxide of non-metals, they will form acids. For example, when carbon reacts with oxygen, it will form carbon dioxide, and when you dissolve this carbon dioxide into water, that it will form carbonic acid. that proves that actually carbon dioxide is acidic in nature. This is about the reaction of metals and non-metals with oxygen. Just revise reaction of metals with oxygen. Fe plus 3O2 means iron plus oxygen, it will form iron oxide. Aluminium plus oxygen, it will form aluminium oxide. Sulfur plus oxygen, sulfur dioxide. Carbon plus oxygen, carbon dioxide. This is the reaction of metals and non-metals with oxygen. Now next one is reaction of metal with water. When metals reacts with water, it will form metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas is released. So you can see when sodium reacts with water, it will form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Chemical properties of non-metals. Non-metals generally do not react with water. Non-metals do not react with water. Always remember this thing. Rather than some non-metals which react with air vigorously are stored in water. For example, you can see here that sodium metal. Sodium metal is actually the very reactive metal, most reactive metal. So it reacts vigorously with oxygen and water. If you keep in the normal environment, it will react with oxygen and water, and a lot of heat is generated. So to avoid this reaction, sodium is stored in the kerosene oil. Okay, so it is a very reactive metal. Always remember this thing. Now the reaction of metals with acids. When metals react with acid, they form metal salt and hydrogen gas. Example, magnesium plus hydrochloric acid, they will form magnesium chloride, and this is a metal salt, and plus hydrogen gas is released. Similarly, aluminium plus hydrochloric acid, aluminium chloride and hydrogen gas is released. Now reaction of non-metal with acids. As non-metals do not react with water, similarly non-metals do not react with acid also. Always remember that non-metals will not react with acids. In this setup you can see that this is a test tube in which we put zinc granules plus dilute sulfuric acid, means Zn plus HCl. This is the reaction that is taking place here, Zn plus HCl. It will form ZnCl2 plus hydrogen gas. Okay, so we can test how the hydrogen gas, the produced hydrogen gas, how can we test that it is produced or not. So in this setup you can see that hydrogen gas is produced here, and it will go into this delivery tube and then enters into this beaker. In this beaker soap solution is present, soap solution. So when this soap bubbles come out that are filled with hydrogen gas, and we put a burning candle on this, then it will produce a pop sound. Hydrogen gas will produce pop sound. Always remember, when there is any pop sound released from any reaction, that means hydrogen gas was released in that reaction. Now the reaction of metals with base. So metal when reacts with base, they will form salt and hydrogen gas, similarly as the metals with acids. So aluminium plus sodium hydroxide, it will form sodium aluminate plus hydrogen gas is released. Next one, non-metals. Non-metals reacts with base like sodium hydroxide, but no hydrogen gas is released. No hydrogen gas is released when non-metals reacts with bases. So it is actually a complex process. And now last one is the metal displacement reaction. This is very important. Actually a metal will displace a less reactive metal in a metal salt solution. What is the meaning? That when a metal takes the position, displace means takes the position of another metal, it is known as displacement reaction. For example, you can see when iron reacts with copper sulfate, it will form iron sulfate plus copper is released. So here iron has taken the position of copper and it form iron sulfate, and copper is released, means there is displacement of copper, and iron takes the position of copper, because the reason is that the iron is more reactive and copper is less reactive. Okay, always remember, the more reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal. Less reactive metal can't displace the more reactive metal. For example, iron plus magnesium sulfate, here is no reaction. Why there is no reaction? Because magnesium is actually the more reactive metal, but iron is less reactive than magnesium, so iron can't displace magnesium in this reaction. Okay, so this is the displacement reaction. For these reactions you have to learn the reactivity series. This is the reactivity series. Potassium is the highly reactive metal, then sodium, then calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, silver, gold. This is the actually reactivity series, and according to you, you can do displacement reactions. So how you will learn it? This is very important, that how you will learn it. You have to learn only one line, that is, please stop calling me a cute zebra, I like her. Call me smart genius. Again I am repeating, please stop calling me a cute zebra, I like her. Call me smart genius. According to you, you can learn the reactivity series very easily. Please means potassium, stop sodium, calling calcium, me magnesium, a aluminium, cute carbon, zebra, zebra means zinc, I iron, like lead, her hydrogen, call copper, me for mercury, smart silver, genius gold. So it is very easy to learn. You have to learn only one line, please stop calling me a cute zebra, I like her. Call me smart genius. Okay, so I hope you learned it. Next is the uses of metals and non-metals. As you know that we are using metals and non-metals in our daily life. So gold and silver, these are used for making jewelry, very easy, you know very well. Copper is used for making electrical wires, cooking utensils, etc. You know it also. Zinc is mainly used as a protective coat for iron. What is the meaning? That to prevent the rusting on iron, we apply a layer of zinc on the iron, so that there will be no rusting. Okay. Aluminium is used for making electrical cables, packaging, cooking utensils, etc. Metals like iron and steel, these are widely used in building and home constructions. You also know it very well that iron and steel are used for building and home constructions. Next one, liquid metal. You know very well that liquid metal, mercury, it is used in thermometers. Lead, it is commonly used in car batteries, which avoid the pollution. Coins are made up of nickel. Coins are actually made up of nickel. Sodium, it is used as a table salt, and uranium, it is used in defense. So about these are the uses of metals. Now last one is the uses of non-metals. Here we will do the use of sulfur. It is used for making sulfuric acid, salts of metals, etc. Oxygen. Oxygen, as you know very well that it is a gas which is required for respiration. So oxygen is used for respiration by living things, burning of fuels, etc. Nitrogen, it is used for making ammonia, which is used to make fertilizers. Fertilizers are made from nitrogen. Similarly, hydrogen is also used for making ammonia, which is used for making fertilizers as fuel in rockets or welding, etc. Chlorine. Chlorine is used to kill germs in water. Chlorine is used to kill germs in water. And iodine. Iodine is used as a tincture iodine, which is an antiseptic. Means iodine is used as an antiseptic. So students, here we completed the chapter 4, metals and non-metals. Thank you everyone.